So if you guys remember my previous videos, I actually went through this chart last time. Um, we went through a lot last time, but basically we were just talking about the different paths you can take in AI, understanding the entire landscape of AI basically, and the different roles that you can take in AI. First, we defined what artificial intelligence is. We defined that it's the game of prediction. This entire chart is a statistics chart, right? It's not my chart, it's another channel's chart, but basically, like I said in the previous videos, AI is a game of prediction. And in order to make predictions, you need data. So I'm going to be starting a Python series. And the idea behind this series, the next couple of videos, I'm going to be just spitting out a bunch of tutorials, everything that I've learned in the past couple of months, just self-educating myself on AI, on data science, and working with a variety of people, working freelancing jobs, and eventually landing a job, working now full-time as a data scientist. I'm not gonna say which company. I'm not too sure if. Yeah, I'm probably not gonna put that up there online. But point is that now I'm working on multiple data related projects, and I just want to share everything that I've learned. And I'm just gonna throw it out there. I'm no expert in any of this because it's a huge field. Nobody actually knows everything about this entire field. It's a field that is very extensive. I do have competence and the ability to basically build data-driven applications, and I'm currently working with a company in order to build an analysis tool. And the point is, I want to document my entire journey in continuously learning this stuff because I'm also continuously learning this stuff. And I just want to be completely transparent here on this channel because that's what we're all about. We're about transparency, and I just want to kind of like resonate with all of you, whoever you are, whether you're a beginner, whether you're an expert, whoever you are. I want to just show, provide at least a small, what do you call it? I guess you could say, snowflake of contribution, if you want to call it that, to this entire AI landscape, which is pretty overwhelming. Anyways, we talked about all the entire landscape in previous videos, and we talked about how there are different AI related roles. There is three main roles that developers developers can take. If you want to get into like the coding game of AI, if you like want to get into like the developer route of AI, then there are usually like three main roles. If you want to play the game of prediction, that is rigorous prediction, then you should probably opt to become a data scientist. If you want to play the game of quick, fast analytics in order to help a company make quick, fast decisions, you probably want to get into data analysis. And if you just want to, automate a lot of data-driven tasks, that is, automate a lot of machine learning algorithms, you probably want to get into, machine learning or AI engineering, actually. So those are like the three developer paths you could take. Obviously, there are other paths you could take. You could become literally an AI ethicist, an AI philosopher, an AI sales rep, an AI product manager. There are a bunch of roles in this industry. Now, here at All Minds, we are going to be focusing on all roles. We're going to get into the philosophy of AI. We're going to get into the development of AI, the coding of AI. We're going to get into all roles. So, like I said before, there are three main roles. Now, again, this chart is not mine, but there are three main roles. One is AI engineering. So, if your goal is to automate, right? If your goal is to provide automations for people, that is, you want to build systems that are automated, but they're not just automated, but they're intelligently automated. That is, they're working well, most things nowadays work on large language models, right? And we call this AI, which it is. It's just a specific field of AI. Then you probably want to become an AI engineer, right? You want to probably become an AI engineer specifically in NLP, natural language processing, specifically in large language models, and specifically in AI agents, right? That's becoming an AI engineer or an LLM engineer, and help companies build I guess you could say agentic production ready applications where maybe an AI can probably write out an email, or maybe a company has a large database and they need a tool that can help them analyze that entire database and query that entire database, because maybe a lot of the people in that company are like, they don't have data analysts, or maybe they can't afford data analysts. So it would definitely like help those companies out if you have the ability to build an AI analysis bot that can, you know, where the individual could just query anything they like. Hey, what is the average, performance of this specific organization or whatever? Like, you don't need to know SQL. You don't need to know SQL or SQL, whatever you want to call it, in order to query that database, right? So if you want to get into that game, the game of automation, then you want to become an AI engineer. That should be your goal. Of course, you would then have to like be more specific as to what type of AI engineer you want to become. So this is from, the channel Code Basics. Highly recommend their channel. Amazing channel. I love this chart. This is not my chart. So, but like, again, if you want to like become an AI engineer, then you got to be even more specific. Maybe what kind of AI engineer do you want to become? So you could probably, hold on. Oh yeah. So you could, if you're into like natural language processing, you can get into that, become an AI engineer. So most AI engineers kind of dive into NLP. They dive specifically into large language models. I know I am, but there are other paths as well. Just so you know, there's computer vision as well. Voice agents is actually starting to become very popular. The idea of, with like OpenAI's Whisper API, right? So you can talk to an actual AI in real time. That's voice agents, and it's actually becoming very popular. It's very helpful for like companies, for creating like customer service support. I believe that's going to be a really, really big deal in the future. Yes, that's going to replace a lot of jobs, but here's the thing about job replacements: when jobs are replaced because of new technologies, new jobs are created. I'm not going to get into that into this video, but yeah. So there are different types of AI engineering roles that you can get into. That's one category of AI that you can get into. The other category is speed. So it's all about it's all about making quick analytical decisions. So this is all about the data analytics camp. It's all about the people who want to help companies make quick and fast, intelligent business related decisions, right? It's all about the people who use Power BI and a lot of these data analytics platforms in order to carry out quick analysis. They use SQL, they use even Python as well at times, in order just to make quick analytical insights, right? So these are the data analysts. Now, what does this have to do with AI? Because, I just want to, like, what does this have to do with AI, really, right? Like, data analytics, come on. Well, this has a lot to do with AI, because AI is all about data. This is something that a lot of beginners don't understand. AI, the foundations of AI is data. It's statistics. And this leads me to the third category, which is rigor. If your goal is rigor, if your goal is to really dive deep into prediction, you want to guarantee prediction. You don't just want to make quick and fast analytical decisions. You want to make sure, you want to have almost certainty. You can't have 100% certainty, but you want to get as close to as possible to certainty, right? So you want to like optimize the accuracy of your prediction. You don't care how long it's going to take for you to carry that out, but you just want to make sure that you get as close to as precision as you possibly can, because you want to make accurate predictions, right? If that is a goal, then data science is the path that you should probably take. And that's the difference. That's a key difference between data analytics and data science. So remember, data analytics is more of, think of it as chess, right? So you have two types of chess. You got the guys who play chess really, really quick, right? If any of you have seen those tournaments where people are just like moving the chess pieces really, really fast, that's speed chess, right? That's data analytics, where speed matters, right? Now, on the contrary, you have chess tournaments where speed doesn't matter. It's all about making accurate moves. Doesn't matter how long it takes for you to make your move. Take as much time as you need to take. It's about making a very accurate move, right? The right move, the smartest move that you could possibly make. So the slow chess is data science, while the quick, fast speed chess is data analytics. And building a bot that can play chess is automation. That would be AI engineering. So those are the three differences. Those are the three key areas. So if your goal is data science, if your goal is getting into rigor, then you really need to study statistics. If your goal is to get into just quick fast data analytics, then you should still study statistics, but you don't have to study it rigorously. You do not need to know the super complex math behind statistics. You could just understand basic statistical concepts, basic probability theory, basic descriptive statistics, understand what an average is, what mean, median, and mode is, right? Just understand basic statistics. If your goal is automation, then you really need to get into coding. That is, you really need to get into becoming a developer. So you really need to get into getting into JavaScript, HTML, CSS. You got to understand the basics of coding if you really want to get into AI engineering. Of course, now we have this concept known as vibe coding, where technically you can become a developer without necessarily going super in depth into the code, but it's still important to at least have some understanding of development. It definitely helps, but that's something I've talked about in my previous video, and yeah, you just go check it out. I think it's called AI Just Killed Courses. I talked a little bit about vibe coding in that video, but I might make another one in the future. So those are the three main areas that are related to the game of AI. And the series that I'm going to be creating the next couple of, whoever knows how long the series is going to last, I'm going to be exploring all of them. So here at All Minds, we are going to be exploring all of these areas. We are going to be exploring both rigor, speed, and automation. We're going to be exploring the entire data science process. We're going to be exploring data analytics. We're going to be exploring also AI engineering. We're going to be exploring everything. We're going to be exploring from how AI works, the mathematics behind AI, and we're also going to be exploring how to actually implement a production-ready application. And like I said before, I don't know everything. There are some areas that I'm pretty good at, and there are other areas where I'm not so good at, because this is a huge landscape, right? This is why I highly recommend you ask yourself what is the game that you actually want to play. So I don't know everything about these areas, but here at All Minds, we are going to explore all of these areas. I'm going to be documenting my journey and learning these concepts, and I'm going to be sharing it with you guys, and hopefully you can get value from that. So the area that we are going to first explore is rigor. That is data science, the data science process. The reason why we're going to explore this area first is because I truly believe that we need to start from first principles. That is, we need to understand how AI works, how these AI models work, and slowly build from that, right? Understand the basics, the axioms of AI, if you want to call it, and then slowly build into actually implementing these models, building these models from scratch, and then actually implementing these models through libraries, right? Through something called libraries. So you can import different libraries. So basically, things like ChatGPT and all that, these are transformers, right? These are generative pre-trained transformers. And you can actually use these models in your own application. You don't have to code them out from scratch, right? You can use them through APIs, something called APIs. There are other machine learning algorithms that are not necessarily large language models, like linear regression or k-means clustering. And again, you don't need to code these out from scratch. You can actually just use them by importing them in Python. But the best way to actually have a deep understanding of these models is by actually coding them from scratch. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be diving deep into these models, coding them out from scratch, and then implementing them in multiple projects. And then eventually getting to large language models, build a large language model from scratch, and then implementing one. We're not going to build an exact large language model from scratch like that of ChatGPT, because that would probably require billions of dollars, but at least something similar to it, so that we can really have a deep understanding of how these large language models work, and then actually implement them into projects and actually building production-ready data-driven applications. So we're going to go through the entire spectrum from rigor to speed to automation, and hopefully this will provide value to everyone. Either if you're someone that wants to get into data science, or if you're someone that wants to get into data analytics, or if you're someone that wants to get into AI engineering. And also, I'm probably going to be starting a series or a podcast on the philosophy of AI. I'm not leaving my AI philosophers hungry also. No, I'm also going to be providing value for those guys, because I myself am an AI philosopher. So here at All Mind, we're going to be exploring all these areas, and I hope you can just enjoy it. So with that being said, let's begin.